Hi, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts, and today, like every day, we're coming at you live from our studio in Las Vegas. We have an amazing show for you today. Today's topic of conversation is Solana, as it had the biggest outage in its history. Over 18 hours offline, nothing was happening. What does that mean for the Solana network? We're going to discuss that. We're also going to talk about Coinbase. We're going to talk about the IMF, and Gary Gensler came out and just said it. Everything except Bitcoin is a security. We'll discuss that. We also have two special guests joining us. We have Gonzo and Johnny Crypto from Good Morning America. Good Morning Crypto. They'll be joining us in T-minus 25 minutes. But first, I'd like to introduce you to your other co-host, Robin.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take old, boring, and stale information and package it up in a fun and sexy way.
That was a weird hola.
Hola! You all right, bro?
No, are you all right, bro?
You all right, bro?
How's your weekend, man?
Great weekend.
You watched the Jake Paul fight?
No. Who won?
He lost.
You lost?
He lost. They were
Not
both
surprised.
undefeated. You know, I met Jake Paul. He was a cool dude, man. Nothing bad to say about Jake Paul.
Yeah?
Yeah. He was a cool dude.
What about Logan Paul?
His girlfriend was cool too. Logan Paul. I'm happy you brought that up. So, got this funny video from the fight. So, of course, Logan Paul is Jake Paul's brother. Jake Paul's the boxer. Logan Paul's the
YouTuber.
yeah.
And crypto entrepreneur of Crypto Zoo.
We'll leave it at that.
Yes.
And so he was so funny. He was at the fight and he was interviewed by one of the reporters. And look at this. Listen to this exchange. Look at this. Did you see this?
No.
I said, Jake, I love you. I'm not going to give you a big speech. I know you got this, but either come back victorious or come back on your shield. I love you, bro.
I love you too, man. How do you feel like he's doing so far in the fight?
He's talking to his brother. I love you too, man.
Wasn't talking to you. He was not talking to you.
I don't know why that was.
I feel like that's how David is every show.
Why
Won't you love me, Rob? Love you too, man. I'm like, I wasn't talking to you.
That's hella funny. You know, so there's this new thing that came out. This is kind of intriguing, okay? So this is, I got this from Crypto T, at Crypto T _. So there's this new phone thing where, credit card, MasterCard is doing this. And it tracks your carbon footprint. And it denies transactions if you've reached your carbon limit. Okay, so MasterCard has created a credit card to track your carbon output. It will deny your transactions if you have surpassed your carbon limit. Like, right here's a video. How do you feel about this, bro? You know.
What is it gonna like stop you from filling up your gas tank?
It just won't go. It won't go through. You know,
This is so stupid.
I would be happy to abide by these if the millionaires that are creating these, every time if their jet doesn't take off because they've reached their carbon footprint, their private jets, then sure, yeah. But this is kind of interesting.
This is so stupid, man.
This is dumb.
This is just like, I'm sorry. This is just.
Can't say the words.
Yeah, I was gonna throw all kinds of Caucasian stuff and. What? This is just privileged white people just thinking that they're doing something. Like, you're not doing anything. Stop it. That's it, bro. Like, you're not doing anything. Like, you think you're on some high and righteous path here. You're not. I'm sorry.
Does that mean you don't care about the environment?
No. It just say they think they're doing right? They think they're changing the world because they bought the credit card that reduces a card that stops you from. But we know what's going to happen. Whoever has that credit card, what they're going to do is it gets declined. They're going to pull out the Amex, and they're going to be like, whoosh.
Yeah,
right. Here's the thing: if you want to make a change, well, first of all, you can go put solar panels on your house. Then you can get an electric car, and then charge the electric car off your solar panels. And
Rob,
then from there, it's you've reduced your footprint. And if you want to, you can go volunteer and go spend some hours and go do some community work. Go plant some trees. Like there's a lot of things you can do. But to sit here and think that you're getting things done, you're accomplishing, you're changing the world because you bought a credit card. You signed up for a credit card that shuts you down. That stops processing transactions after a certain period. Like, come on, man. No,
Rob,
I'm sorry. This is just like corporate America trying to make you feel good, like you're doing something. You're really not. I'm sorry.
You mentioned solar panels and essentially renewable energies. Did you know there's an app on your phone now? It's built into iOS on Apple. That if you go to battery, okay, and I'm doing it right now. You go to battery, you click on battery health and charging. It automatically turns on. It's called clean energy charging. In your region, iPhone will try to reduce your carbon footprint by selectively charging when lower carbon emission electricity is available. Right.
I think that's.
I turned it off.
You did.
When I want to charge my phone,
I feel like that makes you more aware of what time of the day, I guess, and I you know what I mean. It makes you recognize more when you're using more carbon and whatever. And now that I guess makes a little more sense. I'm sorry, man, but credit card thing, it's just foolish to me, man. I think they missed the mark on that. Right?
Well, the good thing is
I would rather honestly, like if it was a card, for example, I would rather see someone saying, hey, instead of getting cash back or rewards or for something like that, like, hey, for every $1,000, we plant 5 trees. Or, hey, we're funding something that removes carbon from the air. Like, and every time you purchase, a part of, the transaction fees go directly to that, which we match. Like, that would be something that makes sense. But this is just foolish.
Can you imagine,
man.
you're out of gas, you're stranded. You finally get to a gas station. The only card in your wallet.
Sorry, man.
Your carbon.
It's just stupid ass corporate America trying to make people feel good, man.
Yeah.
You can buy anything with a credit card. You have a bunch of plastic bags and throw it in the river. Right?
Yeah, this is
hey, we were
same person that has like the gas leaf blower outside.
Oh, the bull market's back. Is that the bull market back sound? One more funny thing I want to share with you guys. So this was I retweeted this on our Twitter. Go follow us if you haven't at Sin City Crypto 1. Says this cup has more utility than 99% of NFTs. Have you seen this cup, Robin?
What is this?
This is a cup that has more utility than 99% of NFTs. This is pretty cool, actually. Look at this.
What's it do? Confused.
Hold on. It should do something. Do something. Why isn't the video playing, man? That's some BS, bro. All right, anyways. As you turn the cup, the horse runs. Man, that's anticlimactic. That's terrible. All right, whatever. It was funny when it was there. All right, let's get into the markets. Robin.
Great utility.
Thanks. Yeah.
Wow.
Just like NFT products, they don't work.
There you go.
All right.
We got a €20 super chat.
Say what?
From Kazuma. He says, he says, I don't get why the poll of Solana was up. I just trust Solana. I don't know. It's harder. I can't read this. It's too small.
I don't get why the poll of Solana was up. I trust Solana. It's doing what it's supposed to do. All those outages are part of proof of history consensus. People should realize Solana can't be underpriced or overpriced. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, the text is small on the super chat on my screen. So.
So there's that's a nice little GIF there. So the reason the poll is up, it's not because we think one way or another. It's just we want to gauge the community, right? And so the topic of today's show was Solana going down and had the worst outage in its history. No one's saying, or at least I'm not saying that Solana is done and over with. I don't think Robin's saying that either, right?
No,
Solana's not dead because of this outage. Is it a setback? Yes. We'll discuss in more detail.
You know, big companies go under. Big companies have outages, right? No, it's common in our tech industry. And if you tried to send an email this morning, you might have found out that it was down as well. Here's let me see here. I got a little article.
My internet was not working yesterday.
So here you have Gmail went down once again, but it seems to be back up. So this all of Gmail was down for over an hour early this morning. So just an example, as you know, sometimes tech goes under. So I'm not saying that it's okay that Solana repeatedly goes down, but just saying that there are successful companies that, you know, it's just part of being in a new tech space. So I wouldn't write off Solana simply off of that fact.
Well, Solana was clean for 3 months, right? Nothing wrong in 3 months. They upgraded their code, and then they had this bug in it.
Well, they are also clean, didn't have any outages during the bottom of a bear market where activity is relatively low.
Well,
and when you're minting a crap ton of NFTs and you have a lot of throughput going on, that's when we've seen the problems.
Robert, yeah, but here's the thing: people can argue the opposite. People can say, well, if it's going down when it's the activity's down, what's going to happen when?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I thought you were saying at least it happened.
It previously went down before when there was a lot of, it previously went down when there was a lot of throughput, and so we hadn't seen anything in a while.
Yeah,
and now, hey, you go down once again, but so yeah, you know,
it's a concern. Okay, it's definitely a concern. We can't just brush it off. And I've heard, and again, we'll get into this in more detail with our guests as well in about 15 minutes. But some people are saying, hey, maybe they should just stay a centralized blockchain, right? I mean, not everything has to be decentralized, right? So that's an interesting narrative as well.
It's different levels of decentralized, you know. So I would like to see some level of decentralization, but not anything like, you know, not anything crazy.
Bro, I got some big news, my dude.
What's up, my bro?
I got some big news.
¿Qué pasa?
We got a big whale, a new whale member just joined.
A new whale member?
Big Swole.
Damn.
Backing up the big name by becoming a big whale member and supporting our channel. Rocco, let's welcome our new whale member.
There she blows.
Hey. Welcome to the club, my dude.
Big Swole, welcome. Just know that there's not much return on investment yet, but you will get a 10% discount code for all of our merch.
Your name in the credits as well.
Yes, we'll add your name to the credits, and we will add you to our whale channel in Discord. That is the most active, the whale channel. So we'll add you to that, my friend. If you're in there, if you're in Discord, say hello, say, hey, it's Big Swole. I will add you in there. And welcome and thank you. Robin, let us get into the markets.
All right. So quick look at. All right. Quick look at the markets.
Real quick. Sean said Solana makes McDonald's ice cream machines look reliable.
Yeah. You know, there's a lot of jokes on that. You know,
there is. I tweeted one of those jokes. Got a very good engagement too. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob.
All right. So Bitcoin coming in at 23,248. It is down a little bit from this morning. I did see it as high as 23.4. So you can see that we've had the pullback. Oh, it was as high as 23.8. I know we got that high this morning. Anyway, so on pullback here, looks might be a little scary when you first look at it, but then you zoom out. On the 1 month, you can kind of see that we've been trending around this 23,000 mark here. It has been support in the past, and we're using it as support again. So curious to see if we'll keep support and then go back up and test this 25K mark. I do think we're just going to be trading here for a week or two. What do you think, David?
So
this range here. So if you look here, this range started 12 days ago. So for about the last 2 weeks, we've been in this channel of 23 to 25. And I don't know if you have charts on it or you're planning on expanding on it, but just what's your first knee-jerk reaction? Do you think we're going to stay bound between 23 and 25, or do you think we're more likely to break to the downside or upside?
Okay, so I'm a technical guy, so I'm gonna go to my chart.
Okay.
So here's what I'm seeing. Okay, so first thing I see, I'm gonna take the bands off here. First thing you see is the trend line I drew. This is on the Bitcoin on the 4 hour. So this trend line started. I drew this from back in on January 18th, and you can see here this trend line has acted as support. We broke below, retested this level here, got rejected. So there was resistance. Came back again, wicked up here, got rejected, finally broke through. That's when we had that massive move from right around 22,300 all the way up to 25.2. Came back down, and the good news is we built support right back on top of the trend line. Again, we came back down, we wicked down here right at this 23.1, and we bounced right back up. And so are we going to be consolidating? Well, the Bollinger Band tells us we kind of are going to be consolidating. And so Bollinger Bands, they are starting to get tighter, which typically signals consolidation. And also, think of it like a rubber band, right? Keep pulling it back, pulling it back, pulling it back, pulling it back. The longer you pull it back, the farther it's going to go when you release it. And if I take the Bollinger Band off and we throw our Ichimokus on, take a look at where we are. So you can see how perfectly this cloud acts as support and resistance. We wicked into the cloud, got immediately rejected. And so I can see us trading along this trend line, right? For the next, I would say maybe a couple days, right around this 23.4. And remember, this is a uptrending trend line. We should be inching upward in price until we get to this zone right here, right? This 23, we'll call it 23.32 to 23.44. And then it's either we're going to blow through this cloud and we're going to flip to green, or we're going to get rejected and come back down. If we do come back down, I would expect us to immediately retest 22.9. If that fails, expect to see 22.4. And if that fails, we have extremely strong support at 21.5. Tons of volume coming in here as well. So definitely not going under 21.5. I don't think, unless something cataclysmic happens. But what I like to look at as well, we're going to start doing this every single Monday.
And real quick, if we get a little engagement from the chat, if you guys think that you're more likely to, in the next couple weeks, be under 23,000, put a 1 in the chat. You think you were more likely in a couple weeks to be over 25,000, put a 2 in the chat. I want to know what you guys think. 1 under 23, 2 over 25 in the next couple weeks. Let's see where the chat thinks.
And guys, remember, we talked about this last week on my solo show and also on our main show. Like 67,000 Bitcoin, right? Well, if you count the shorts, you're looking at 90,000 Bitcoin options contracts are set to expire at the end of next month. So quarterly options are expiring. If we are at 30K, shorts are going to get absolutely destroyed, and we're going to go to 34 to 36K. Maybe even 40K. Maybe FOMO kicks in. If we're under 20, I believe the number was 20,500. If we're under 20,500, bulls are going to get wrecked. Then we might break below 20K, but that remains to be seen. Like I mentioned, this is something we're going to start looking at every single Monday. So this is the economic calendar. I sorted it for the US, China, Europe, Japan, and England. And so some important things happening this week. China's publishing some PMI numbers. And then on March 1st in the US, we're getting our ISM manufacturing PMI. Japan's coming out with their consumer confidence index on March 1st as well. And then on March 2nd, the EU inflation rate year over year and their employment rate comes up. Now, I understand that, the US Fed is kind of what drives policy around the world, but they work hand in hand with these other countries. Maybe not China, but definitely Europe, definitely Japan, definitely England. So what kind of impact will that have on their policy moving forward? And then we're going to take a look at coin market calendar to see what are the happenings in the top 300 tokens. And so I believe there was a conference in LA that got canceled. We were supposed to go to that one, but that's not happening anymore. But here, just kind of scroll through briefly so you guys can see. So Stacks, one of the hottest projects out right now. They're doing an AMA at 3 p.m. UTC. That is today. What else we got here? SSV, not sure what that is. They're getting a BitTrue listing. And then Optimism, public goods funding. That starts at the end of this month, so over the next couple of days. And so, yeah, Optimism saw a big pump, but Forrest talked about this on our show on Friday. Maybe not a good time to get in. And then just take a look at TVL, up 2%, total value locked over all of DeFi and the ecosystem, up to almost $50 billion, which is a level we have not seen since, what is this, 2021? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's all I got for that.
All right. I do want to have a conversation with the chat here. You know where I'm getting at with this.
Yeah.
You know where I'm getting at with this. We got 150 people in the chat and only 50 likes. That means only 1 out of every 3 people has hit the like button. Ask yourself this. Have you hit the like button? If you have not, ask yourself this again. Why not? Do you not like Big Rob? Do you not like Small Dave? Do you not like what we're doing? If you do, hit the like button. Also, we have a $5 super chat from Kazuma, basically saying he's a super fan of Solana. He ain't swayed negatively by the outages. So
hey, man.
Keep on keeping on, baby.
Listen, it's your money, and B, assuming you have that much money tied in one project, you've done your research, and so, hey, man.
The thing it's likely it's going to bounce back. It's likely going to break. It's likely going to test all-time highs again in the next bull market. I mean, I think it's more likely than not, put it that way. But I do think, there is risk. There has been problems. And, if you're fine with taking that risk, there is a lot of upside. So it's up to you. And then I do want to give a little love to the new people here. If you're new, say hello so that way we can drop an hola back at you. We have B Gnarly. We have number 1. We have Oi, I don't know.
Oi.
O-Y.
Oi, oi.
Oi, oi. And we also got Cody, Rosen, Andre, Rounder, Fire Up. To all of you, hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Rob.
And Andre Brown in here as well. Made the cut in the last second.
That's right. What's the rest of the market doing? We only looked at Bitcoin.
All right. So taking a look, we got Ethereum at $1,623. Over that $1,600 mark. This has been a zone of resistance or big psychological number if you're going all the way back to 2019. So, yeah, I don't know.
Guys, Ethereum's arguably the second largest event in Ethereum's history is happening next month.
What?
Ethereum Shanghai. We did a video on it. It covered everything you need to know. Possibilities of what can happen to price to the downside, why it would move to the downside, and the same for the upside. Every single EIP, what it does. We've covered that in the video. It's only 5 minutes. Do us a favor. Go watch it after the live show. It came out really, really well. A lot of time and effort was put into it. And you'll get a lot of good info out of it.
Yeah, see here, you can see the $1,600 mark all the way across. It's low zone. Anyways, back to the rest of the market. We can take a look on the biggest gainers and losers. Stacks still pumping. This thing is not slowing down. Up 12% on the day, 42% on the week. And also Singularity Net still moving, Neo moving as well. Some of the biggest losers. There are some that are pulling back.
Quant at $125. If Quant gets to $100, I am
You picking some up?
yes.
Yeah. Also,
100%.
Hedera, Polygon, a little pullback as well. And
They had that big reorg last week.
Yeah. And Phantom as well.
Rob, let me ask you.
What's
Redman
up?
said ETH under 2K is always a good buy. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Under 2K?
As long as you're okay with your time horizon being out I'd say 2 years, a year and a half. And I think if you're fine buying now and you're not going to have the itch to sell in the next 8 months, sure, yeah. I think after the halving, itchy, huh? Trying to sell your ETH?
I sell my ETH.
Yeah. So after the halving, I think there's little chance that you're going to find Ethereum under $2,000.
You know, speaking of Ethereum, Robin, you know, I went on Good Morning Crypto last month, and I found out one of their members is a big ETH maxi, they called him. And so he's here. And so, Rocco, let's go ahead and bring him in. Gonzo. Yo.
Hey.
How you doing, my
up?
friend? Right on
How's it
cue, bro.
going,
We
guys?
talk about ETH, you show up. I like it.
Right. There you go. Yeah. Abs loves to call me the ETH Maxi, right? But yeah, man, that was a great video that you guys did on the Shanghai upgrade. Yeah, dude, I think there are big things to come for Ethereum. I think overall it's going to perform better in the next bull run than Bitcoin. We can talk about that. But yeah, I love me some ETH.
We do too. Hey, by the way, Gonzo, I know you haven't met my co-host, Robin. This is Robin. You don't have to call him Big Rob.
What's up, Robin?
He calls himself Big Rob. You don't have to, though. Guys, if you're not
you call him
familiar,
Rob, Big Rob?
That's right.
No, just call him Robin.
Big Rob. Big
No,
Rob.
Big.
Big Rob. Okay.
Yeah. Guys, if you're not familiar with Gonzo, he's part of the 3T Warrior Academy team. They do a show every morning, Good Morning Crypto. I was on their show last month, and I believe I'm coming back on the show next month. Either me or Robin. Well, one of us will be on. And so we're excited to have you on, my friend. Let me ask you this question before we bring your teammate Johnny on here. Do you think after the Shanghai upgrade, do you think it's going to push prices up or it's going to push prices down? So are you in the camp of over 1 million ETH is going to get unlocked from the rewards and immediate selling because it's all profit? Or are you going to be in the camp of, hey, once I can stake without an indefinite time frame of not being able to access my money, it's going to bring even more stakers into the network? Which side of the fence are you on?
I'm in that side of the fence that I think it's going to do better. I think that once people can unlock their Ethereum and they feel safe that they can stake it and unlock it and they have that control, I think that, I think it's going to do better. And I think price action is going to move up. Because actually, a lot of people are assuming that because the unlock is coming, that a lot of people are just going to go ahead and sell out. But it's already built into the protocol that they can unstake, but you can't unstake everything at once. So you're not going to get a full-on dump, right? They built it into the protocol for it to be kind of spaced out. So I think that's going to be one thing. And the other thing is too, is like you have people that are earning pretty good yield, right? And so why would they mess with that? So I'm kind of leaning towards that. Anything is possible in the matrix, we always say. But I think that it's going to be a good thing for Ethereum, and I think Ethereum is actually going to do better, and price action is going to move up. Because a lot of people are going to assume that it's going to go down because of the unlock, because everyone's going to unstake and then sell their ETH. But I think it's going to be the opposite of that.
I want to know what the chat thinks. What side of the fence are you guys on? Do you think this Shanghai upgrade, all this unlocking of ETH, do you think it's going to crash the price of ETH? Or you think it's going to do the opposite? It's going to bring more people into ETH. And I covered this in the video, the Shanghai video we did. But forgot what the hell I was going to say.
We kind of saw that. We've seen it. We already kind of saw that trend change, right? Whether it was DXDY, there was another one where you had these unlocks that were coming up. And I know that Ethereum's a little bit different, but we had these unlocks, and usually we'd see unlocks and price would crash. And what did we see over the last few months, right? It actually price rallied through the unlocks. And so that's why I'm also leaning towards we're going to do something a little bit different.
Right. And here's what I was going to say is, in the video, I talked about how on networks like Solana and Cardano, the issuance that's staked on chain is close to 70%. Right now, the issuance of ETH staked on chain is only 14%. And so is that gap going to get filled? Do I think it's going to go to a full 70%? No, I don't think it is. But can it get to 40%? Can it even get to 30%? We're talking an extra 3x on value staked on Ethereum. Get more NFT projects minting, get the ecosystem back up, DeFi gets going, bam, supply shock, ETH remains deflationary, right? More tokens are being burned, the issuance rate is lower. Hey, can ETH get to 10K? Can ETH get to 15K the next bull cycle? What do you think?
I think so. Like, obviously, we're talking about like in the next cycle. I think for sure. I think people are underestimating the deflationary measure of Ethereum. We've never seen that before in any of the other cryptocurrencies or crypto assets, whatever you call them. And I always get into this discussion with Johnny about like total supply, right? Or that Bitcoin has a capped supply and that Ethereum doesn't, and that makes them nervous. But when you really look at it, I want to say the last time I looked, what is there, like 122 million Ethereum? But when it becomes deflationary, that number is going to get smaller. So even though there's not a total cap supply, when it's deflationary, that number goes the other way. And I think that people are acting like, oh, it's priced in and we're going to see the same things that we've seen before, but we haven't. This is a whole new Ethereum, and we haven't seen these kind of things before. I mean, we're in the middle of kind of like a bear market, right? And you already see it deflationary. Imagine what happens when we get into the full FOMO, all the NFT projects are rolling, DeFi is rolling. I mean, we get this thing going. Imagine how deflationary it's going to become. So, yeah.
I agree. We're pretty big on ETH. If you're a member of this channel, throw your ETH emoji in there. All right. While we're waiting to onboard Johnny, let's get into the biggest news of the weekend. Was first, what's your just Solana, like 2 sentences? What do you think about the project before I get into the news?
I was talking about Solana when it was like actually crashing, because that's when I like to invest. When things are real bloody, everybody's fearful. I was looking at Solana when it was $12 to $8, kind of called that $8 bottom, because I had seen some structure. And so I was like, hey, if we're going to get in, this is where we're going to get in at. And that's looking pretty good. I think long-term Solana, it remains to be seen. But if you got in at those prices, you're doing very, very well. I think on a short-term hold, I think Solana is good because it still has that NFT ecosystem and the gaming ecosystem. Long term, when it comes to like tokenizing assets and what they want to do with like Ethereum, you can't have the network go down like it goes down, right? That's not going to be good for most of the financial markets. But when you're talking about gaming and like NFTs, it's not that important. And I do think that Solana has its place.
If you are a business owner or you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to build an NFT project or a DeFi project or something, right? And you're looking at, and you're wound down to ETH. I'm not going to say ETH because I know you're going to pick it. You're looking at something like.
Well, no, it might not be because of the gas fees, right? Go ahead.
I'm going to give you Cardano or Solana, right? You're looking at these 2 chains, Cardano and Solana. I can build on one. There's benefits to the other. There are benefits to launching on Solana. There's benefits to launching on Cardano, and there's pros and cons, right? Would you still feel comfortable picking Solana, knowing that the network has had outages? And let me say, up until over the weekend, it was 3 months and everything was perfectly fine. And they upgraded their code, and then they had this 18-hour major outage. So would you feel comfortable launching your project? All the time and money you've spent on your project, would you feel comfortable launching it on Solana?
Well, if you're going to give me an option of Cardano and Solana, I'm probably going to pick Cardano, right? Because they're the ones that are taking their time. Their kind of ethos is to kind of write these papers, to take their time to make sure that the tech works. Whereas Solana is the other extreme of that, right? They kind of threw the tech out there and it's breaking and they're fixing it as it goes. But if you give me that choice, then I would probably build on Cardano as opposed to Solana.
Fair enough.
But
all right.
Solana as an investment thesis, though, like, to a short-term play, then I invest in both, man.
Picking up Solana at $8 was a great move. So if you picked up Solana under $10, put a 1 in the chat because I want to applaud you and commend you. All right. So if you were living under a rock over the weekend, here's what we're talking about. Here's what happened. This is sourced from CoinDesk. Solana network stumbles. On-chain trading slows after forking incident. And I got some things highlighted that I like to read here for everyone. Infrastructure, get out of here. Infrastructure operators on the Solana network rushed to right the struggling blockchain early Saturday after a tech issue throttled users' ability to trade crypto, transfer assets, or do anything on chain. The blockchain started forking, which, if you're not familiar, that is creating conflicting versions of its transaction history. This happened around 12:53 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday, according to the Discord server. Shortly after, validators' RAM began increasing while the chain's transaction throughput fell off a cliff. Those tech troubles combined to effectively freeze nearly all on-chain activity. Couldn't do anything. Nothing. Couldn't mint, couldn't move money around, nothing. By 2 a.m., the network was processing about 93 transactions per second, which is well below their rate at 5,000 transactions per second. Without a definite bug to squash, some validators began downgrading to the previous version in hopes of reviving Solana's throughput. Then there was a follow-up article, also from CoinDesk, That said, Solana validators to make second restart attempt as transaction freeze drags on. They tried to restart it once, didn't work, and they went on to try it a second time. Obviously, it's back up now. And I'm going to make this a little bigger, zoom in here for you guys. Solana Network's deep freeze continues Saturday as validators were preparing a second restart attempt that they hoped would restore service to users of the blockchain. A first attempt was abandoned when validators realized they picked the wrong point at which to restart, further lengthening the delay. Hours into the crisis, key voices in the Solana ecosystem were still looking to identify a culprit. One leading theory was that a, quote, fat block gunked up the blockchain's mechanics. Notably, the network was moving to an upgraded version shortly before its troubles began. And at press time, validators working in conjunction with developers were again attempting to restart the chain and had gotten some 70% of total stake behind the move. But the network needs an 80% supermajority to proceed. So, okay, real quick, before we get into talking, here's a chart of Solana's uptime, okay? So this is over the last 3 months. You can see the one that happened on the 25th. This was a major outage, right? 18 hours and 50 minutes, the longest time Solana's been offline, the biggest major outage in its history. Go back over the last 3 months, right? We had one in October, 6 hours, major outage. Another one on September 30th, 1 hour, major outage. We go back another 3 months, and we were fine up until June, 4 hours, major outage. And then in May 1st, 5 hours, major outage. April 30th, 2 hours, major outage. You know what I'm seeing here, Gonzo? Is I'm seeing all these are happening at either the beginning or the end of the month, right? Right? I mean, okay, let's just take January 2022 out of this, right? April 30th, May 1st, June 1st, September 30th, October 1st, and now February 25th, which is 3 days away from the end of the month. Is that kind of weird? Well, what are your thoughts on that?
That is, I've heard rumors before, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, that, they do the things on purpose. Like they freeze the chain, or they do some kind of thing to like mess with the chain, right? To control price. Which is kind of crazy because the price was already kind of beat up. But that's interesting. I've never really looked at it like that before. But now that you've laid it out, it's kind of funny that happens. That it's happening at the beginning and at the end of the month. But yeah, again, going back to your original question, though, I would totally build on Cardano as opposed to Solana. But the way I look at everything like an investment thesis, right? And my different parts of my portfolio, and Solana kind of falls into that speculative play where I have like 1% to 2%, and then we'll see what happens. I don't go all in, or it's not a big part of my portfolio, kind of like XRP is, or maybe Ethereum, and then some Bitcoin.
Right, Rob, what do you think, bro? End of the month, beginning of the month, all these outages are happening there. Are you concerned? Or is that weird?
On the time of the outage?
Like, why is it happening at either the very beginning or the very end?
Like,
all of it? 6 times?
It's coincidence, bro. I'm sorry. 100%. Calm down.
So it's, okay.
Calm down.
What happened to fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, shame on thee?
Like, what do you think? You're trying to say that like somebody got their paycheck at the end of the...
I don't know.
They're like,
it's a valid question.
They took the trip to Vegas and they're just like at a strip club and they just left their station.
Is that not a valid question?
It's not a valid question.
Why is it not?
Calm down.
Maybe there's
like
more
I see you're connecting the dots and the dots are all over the place. Like, stop it.
Okay. So
sometimes you got to go down that rabbit hole, right?
Yeah, bro. I mean, if you're not, then you're doing yourself and your community a disservice. But let me shift the narrative to this. Solana has gotten flack for being too centralized, right? They are working their way towards being more decentralized, but when stuff like this happens, the network stays offline for longer because you need all the validators come together, supermajority, versus a few short months ago, you can just restart it. Bam, it's up in an hour. It's up in 2 hours, whatever the case may be. So, Rob, is it okay to have centralized, like, is it like, can we just say, all right, Solana, we're okay with you being centralized. Not everything has to be 100% decentralized. Are we there yet?
That's what I was saying earlier, is that it's okay to be to a certain level, right? It's okay to be somewhat centralized. It's okay to be, but you got to be at least somewhat decentralized. Otherwise, you're not blockchain, right? You're not, because who's validating? Because if you're validating your own blocks, that kind of goes against the whole premise of blockchain, right? That would be the most centralized form. Would be, hey, we're checking your own ledger. That's essentially what we have now, right? And in our fiat systems, through the SWIFT system, through the banking system, is that the ledgers are run by the companies, and that would be the most centralized form. And so, to say, hey, is it okay to be centralized? Yeah, it's okay to be centralized, but you gotta have some level of decentralization, so that way there's not a conflict of interest. There's not an incentive there for you to go in and manipulate the source code for your own benefit, and that otherwise it goes against everything that we stand for. Now, does it have to be on the level of Bitcoin? No, and I think that we've demanded this. It must be decentralized. Well, first of all, ain't crap decentralized. Not 100%.
Air is decentralized.
Sometimes. Not when you're in here in the mornings after whatever the hell you ate last night. I'll leave it at that. So, anyways, where I'm getting at is that there's certain avenues that crypto does better centralized, right? And especially when it comes to working with organizations, especially in this new emerging field. And if you look at Amazon and the likes of Google and these other giant companies, they don't want to take on much risk. They want to have somebody at the helm that can fix something if it's broken. Because if you get to a certain decentralization, you basically got your hands off the steering wheel. And if your company is integrated, you just straight YOLO'd in, you got tons of value locked up, and you're relying on the system working, and it goes down, and there's nobody there to fix it because it's decentralized. There's no centralized authority that can get in there and actively fix the problem. Then that's concerning for corporations. As one example. There's other examples that decentralization versus centralization might have its pros and cons. So I think
nothing's perfect.
Yeah, I think assuming that everything has to be decentralized in the same way that Bitcoin is, it's foolish. And I think that's that whole Bitcoin maxi mentality. So,
someone said way too fast for you. Said, hey guys, you know anything about Voyager, Binance US? We have some Voyager news we're going to cover later. But first, we're going to bring on our second guest of today, also from Good Morning Crypto, Johnny Crypto.
Johnny Crypto.
What's up, my man? How you doing?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Good. How you doing,
guys hear me?
Yeah,
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah.
By the way, just for the record, it wasn't no coincidence. That was me. I was flipping the switches and causing all those outages. So I just wanted to set the record straight. Yeah,
I didn't want to be labeled a
Straight up
conspiracy theorist. Yeah, I was going to point the finger, but yeah, didn't want to go down.
No worries.
What are you? Okay, so first and foremost, what's your outlook on Solana? Are you a bull or a Solana bear?
Solana's been one of those ones where I was never really, really big into it. There was a lot of money and a lot of big people behind it. Frankly, I didn't like how they rolled it out really quick. So I prefer more the Cardano approach, where before you launch things, you make sure you got a lot of it worked out, work the bugs out. And they kind of went really fast, really quick into it. So I was never really big on it. But there's a lot of money behind it. And whenever there's a lot of money behind something, it means either somebody knows something and that's going to drive it, or it's a pump and dump, right? Scam. And in this case, I don't believe Solana is a scam. I do believe they have a technology out there. They got one of the bigger NFT marketplaces out there. So I think it's one of those things where, me personally, I'm nor bullish, no bearish on it, but I do believe it could have some legs. So therefore, I put a little bit in my bags. I pack it in there. We don't know which horse is going to win this race, but we want to make sure we got a few horses in this race. So I've got a little bit of Solana with me. But, when it pulled back, it was a great opportunity. So I was like, you know what, roll the dice, DCA in, see what happens. And but I'm really not a big, doesn't matter either way for me on that one.
I think buying Solana under $10 could possibly be one of the best moves in this bear market if it even sniffs its all-time high.
This is what astounded me was the fact that the the price movement when it went down.
Didn't move.
Yeah. So here's my chart real quick. This was the dip here. Okay. We went from $22.38 down to $21.75, a whole move of 70 cents. And then it rebounded within 2 hours. I look at this chart, you're down. Your entire network is not functioning and you only lose 75 cents, not even. You know what that tells me? It tells me that VCs still control this. VC money, this is not retail. When retail sees something dramatic happen, they panic sell, they grab their phone. I'm not saying that should have happened. I'm just telling you that if you're going to analyze what happened here, and you're going to say, what is the reaction to the news?
But no one could sell anything because the network was
that is true as well. That is true as well. Good point there. I didn't even think about that. That is very valuable, very, very good point. But I will say that when it came back up, I should have been selling.
But after the fact.
Yeah, but they could sell after. They could sell after. But you know what? Go ahead. We brought that up before, though, where we'd see these where these freezes or go offline for a few hours and going back to like last year. Remember, Johnny, we talked about it, and you never get a huge price correction. But I think you're spot on, Big Rob, because I do think it has to do with venture capital holding on to it.
Yeah. There's big money. There's big players behind it. If this thing was going to die, it would have died. When we got down to $8, it would have been finished right there after all, right? But the reality is, I'm impressed that it actually survived that pullback. We know the smart money bought a shit ton out of it and bottomed it out at what, $7 or $8, somewhere in that range. And now they're just sitting back waiting for those all-time highs to come back so they can unload again, you know, when the dumb money comes in and starts over leveraging themselves. But I think from a standpoint of its technology, you've seen it's got one of the, you know, more popular NFT marketplaces out there. So I do think it has some legs for sure.
Yeah, because VC money, venture capital, they can't just offboard and sell at a moment's notice. You know, they're confined by making decisions with the entire company's input, whether it's board members or if it's a hedge fund style where they have to communicate with the investors, say, hey, do we want to have exposure to this? They can't have the knee-jerk reaction. And
so
that's just evidence.
Some of their tokens are locked too. They only have access to a certain amount.
100%, and even more the case that evidence points to Solana's price at the moment is still a VC token. Retail is a small percentage compared to what venture capital has. And that could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. Depends on you know how you want to digest that information. But just know that is not the everyday you and me guy, us watching, that controls that market cap. That market cap is controlled by companies, by venture capitalists. So
it'll be interesting. So if you are new to our channel, please, it's your first time here, say hello. And Robin will do two things. He will give you an hola, but most importantly, he will butcher your name, and maybe you'll get a cool nickname out of it.
That's right. We got a few new people here, so just a little quick shout out since you brought that up. We have Homeless to Humbled, Ab, Susie, D. Henley, Bitcoin Cat, Digital Orgy. We got Susie. We also got G4 Life, Way Too Fast, and Selman. Hola! Welcome.
And Christoph 13.
And Christoph 13.
Said, great job, guys. Like and subscribe. Thank you. So, guys, every Monday we have our friend Forrest do a Forrest Fast 5-minute video highlighting some of the biggest news. And today it was on Solana. And so with our guest here, we're going to take a look. We're going to watch this video, and then we're going to bring it back and talk about it.
All right, so quick update on Solana, which experienced around a 20-hour outage over the weekend. Now, this is nothing new for Solana, sadly, right? But interestingly, price dropped only about close to 20% from its prior high and is currently down around 14% from its high around $27. Now, that is fairly in line with the rest of the market. So Solana has not actually suffered as a result of this outage in any major way in terms of its price, which is interestingly. Now, from an investment perspective, you do have to weigh the pros and cons of Solana as a technology and whether or not it's okay, or whether or not you are okay as an investor with Solana having occasional outages. It's been something that they've been dealing with for quite a while, and it's unfortunate. It's not ideal. It's actually making DeFi much more difficult to build on Solana. Why? Because if the Solana network goes down and prices are very volatile, right? Liquidations do not process. On-chain liquidations do not process in a sequential manner or at all, and that potentially causes massive issues where people cannot add and change their liquidation points as the market is moving, and it can be pretty disastrous for some on-chain DeFi stuff. So that is why you don't see a very rich and vibrant ecosystem, DeFi ecosystem on Solana. Now, the pros of Solana is that they are trying to, they're extremely composable, and they're trying to process all transactions on the layer 1. So when you look at something like Ethereum has layer 2s. It's outsourcing its transaction throughput to Matic. Essentially, Binance Smart Chain is kind of like a layer 2, but Arbitrum, Polygon, right? You have a lot of these EVM compatible chains that a lot of the throughput is being outsourced from Ethereum on. Now, that comes with its own, and I'm a big fan of Ethereum, but that comes with its own issues, right? You've got to bridge over to these layer 2s, and that creates friction from a user experience standpoint, potential for bridge hacks, and so on and so forth. So Solana, yes, it experiences outages, but everything's trying to be scaled on the on a layer 1, right? All in the same network. So pros and cons to each. I understand arguments against Solana's approach and some of the issues they have had. Interestingly, though, the price has not dropped as a result of this outage in any significant, meaningful way past what we'd expect with the normal market drop over the last couple of days. Now, that tells me two things. Or potentially tells me two things. One, retail, the type of investor that is very emotionally charged and is going to sell as a result of some sort of news like this and get washed out because of this outage or network slowdown, whatever you want to call it, they're probably no longer in the market. Now, if something like this would have happened, when Solana was still up at $100, and stuff like this did happen, to be quite honest, you see a much worse price fall, drop off. And then the other thing is everybody who, like, this has been an ongoing problem for Solana, even though this particular instance had a different root cause than some of the previous instances. Everyone who is going to sell Solana because of an outage issue is probably already sold, because this has been an ongoing issue. So how many people are there that are selling Solana now after the fourth time this has happened, right? They probably sold on the first, second, or third time, right? So there's, potentially less, you could call them weak hands, or you could call them, people that just have an issue with an outage in a supposed decentralized network, right? There's fewer of those people invested in Solana right now. From a TA perspective, I've marked out some key levels here. We've got around 1950. We've got $27, which is our prior support, turning into resistance. And then to the upside, we do have that $38, $39 level, right? These are in accordance essentially with our margin pressure level. So definitely some levels to keep an eye on.
You brought up an interesting point, right? He said retail would have already sold. And so the retail investors that are worried about Solana going down have already sold. Let me ask you this, Gonzo.
I think he was saying that the retail investors that are here don't care about the outages,
right.
because they've already been through enough
the
of them.
ones that were worried have already sold.
It's like the people in living in Florida that have been through a few hurricanes. The next one coming through ain't gonna move,
They're not going to move.
That's right.
So, Gonzo, let me ask you, does Solana need retail to get back to its all-time highs, or can it do it just based off adoption?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say I do think they need retail, because if you think about, that's so tough, because, you look at like Solana and its history, and we talk about like the price manipulation that we think happened with FTX and the amount of money that SBF and FTX was dumping into Solana. So almost kind of creating that false top. So we don't know where that all-time high should have been, because there was so much manipulation, I feel like, that went into it. But I mean, you know how FOMO is, though. Like, if let's say, in the next bull run, we don't know where we're going to be with our Ethereum upgrades, right? As far as the proto-tank sharding, and if Ethereum continues to have the issues with gas fees, you're going to see the same thing that we saw in the last bull run, right? Which is where these layer ones kind of came to the forefront because they were cheaper, and then money got kind of pushed into them. So I think you could see that with Solana, and so. Yeah, I think you need. I do think you need retail investing. It's just it's tough because we don't know what that top should have been, and so do we get back to all time highs? I think that if we have a huge influx of money, maybe we get a couple more regulation come in, some regulation clarity, and we do get a higher influx of money. Then yeah, we could go back up to those all time highs.
Johnny, same question to you. Does Solana need retail to get back to all time highs, or can it do it straight through adoption?
When you look at it, most of the all-time highs we all saw during the prior bull runs, any bull run, is typically driven by retail, and it's driven by retail over leveraging. So you typically have the smart money come in early, then you get the institutional money coming in, and the last thing you see is the retail driving it up. So however high you get up to, that is the exhaustion of the retail money that's basically being leveraged and over leveraged as well, because you get into this more euphoric, or what we call FOMO state, right? Fear of missing out. So people are leveraging all the money, everything they can to drive it up. And the smart money knows better that that's unsustainable levels. And if you look at these bull runs, you can see that almost across every single chart. So the real question here is how much of the base level of Solana was driven by the money that was poured into it that's no longer there. Now that that's been pulled out. Now that we see the base sitting around 22, 23, you're going to see a little money come in institutional, drive it up a bit. But the big pump to get it back up to all-time highs, once again, will probably have to come through. And my guess would be through the retail, again, through over leverage.
Yeah, at its heart, the human species is actually FOMO sapiens. And as they see the price of this rolling up, it's a top 10 project. They're going to see, hey, man, it's going to go back up to $200 and something dollars. These FOMO sapiens are going to just FOMO in, bro. You know it's coming. You saw the Shiba Inu degens getting in there.
I want to know what the chat thinks, all right? Chat, do you think Solana needs retail to get back to all-time high? Put a 1. If they don't, put a 2. Rocco, I've already set the message, and I'm going to pin it, my friend. I want to know. We also did a poll, right? We did a poll. Do you still believe in Solana? 180 votes. A lot
of people said no.
64% of people said no. 35% of people said yes. My take is this. I think retail is going to come back in, and here's why. Just exactly what Robin said. Adoption starts coming, right? Assuming people continue to build on Solana, which we're seeing that they are. It's very developer friendly. It's fast. It's still cheap. Yes, it has issues, but people are willing to take that risk, and developer activity continues.
I will say this, though. Although there is a ton of institutional money in there, FOMO's probably gonna kick in. However, there is a lot of competition. At the rise of Solana was that when Ethereum's network had some massive throughput issues, transaction costs were through the roof.
That's when the NFT market was on fire.
Yeah, your options were use Ethereum or use Binance Smart Chain, right? And so Binance Smart Chain kind of cornered the DeFi sector, the Uniswap clone, the cheaper version. And then Solana took the reins on NFTs. And also with DeFi as well, but not quite as strong as the NFT market. And now we're going to see in the next bull run, there's a saturation of competition, all doing what Solana is supposed to do, but efficiently. Well, the plan is that these other competitors will be doing it efficiently. Now, maybe other chains will scale in the same way that Solana did as far as throughput, and maybe they'll have the same outages or problems. That's to be seen. I'm sure there will be a couple of those. However, my personal kind of forecasting would be that, hey, there's going to be 5 other smart chains that are doing exactly what Solana does efficiently without going down in the bull market. Why use that platform? And money is going to go elsewhere. I think that's more likely But man, I'm telling you, the degens and the FOMO, it would not surprise me to see like Solana back in the top 5 for some reason during the next bull run. So remember, whales can play whale games. They can promote things, make things sound a lot better than they really are. So,
there's one company that believes that this might be a net positive for Solana, and that company is Coinbase. The source from ZY Crypto. Coinbase predicts why Solana could bounce back even better. In a Brian Kubelis report published by Coinbase Wednesday, not all is lost for the once promising Ethereum killer. The network portrays fundamentals and technical strengths in the level of transactions, users, and developer activity. These key aspects position the scalability protocol for a comeback. The number of developers flocking to the network to benefit from the relatively cheaper transaction costs and faster speed is on another level. For instance, Solana's daily active users currently stand at 155,000, 43% compared to Ethereum's 344,000. On a daily transaction processed by the two networks, Solana takes the lead at 17.7 million compared to Ethereum's 1 million. But like Robin mentioned, transactions also happen on layer 2s. So I'm not sure how they're counting these, but I'm assuming you take the entire ETH ecosystem, more transactions are being validated on ETH than on Solana. And they talk about rising developer activity. And so I decided to take a look here at the DeFi and see, all right, what's happening with Solana's total value locked? So this is from DeFiLlama.com. You can see here Solana coming in at number 12, up 3% over the last 7 days as far as total value locked, with over $259 million locked on across all their dApps and DEXs. And so
remember, the biggest companies, the most successful companies in the US are the ones that have the most backing from institutions, hedge funds, and venture capital. So we can sit here and poke a finger and say, hey, you know what, retail, whatever. But sadly, who's going to drive the market in the future? It's going to be institutions and whale money. So just something to keep a thought on. So.
Any thoughts on this outlook from this Coinbase article, guys, before we move on from Solana?
I was just going to say, it's funny, we're talking about, and I think Rob's right when it comes to like venture capital stuff, but there is a project that you always associate Solana with venture capital, but do you know what project actually has a lot of venture capital behind it and no one ever points this out? Is Matic, Polygon. No, Matic, right? And so it has, I would say, just as much venture capital behind it, but you never hear about that. I don't know why that is, why that narrative gets kind of crossed, but there is a lot of venture capital money that's tied up into Polygon Matic.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you see the price. You've seen issues with Solana. You're like, how is it still propped up there? How does it still have its market cap? And then that's when you have the realization, oh, it's the tide comes out and it's still standing. And I think that's more of the realization. I don't think anybody's like upset, but I think that you see it for what it is. And with Polygon Matic, it's more of an ecosystem. There's retail and there's institution, and so
here, let's compare the two, guys. Here we go. Gonzo, you brought up a good point. Let's compare the two. All right. Here's Polygon Matic. This is compliments of CryptoRank.io. So you brought up an interesting point, okay? So Polygon had their IEO at 0.02 cents, okay? They raised, so this was on the Binance platform, but as far as private sales, they raised, okay, so that's not, okay, here we go. Polygon funding rounds. July 12th, it was announced the Disney Accelerator. Then they raised $450 million via a funding round with a $2 billion valuation. Sequoia, Galaxy, Tiger, and Amoka. They had a small funding round via Mark Cuban, John Lilick, and Coinbase.
What are these totals here?
So it says total raised $5 million. I'm assuming that does not include this funding round, but so taking a look, so $1 million, just call it $460 million. Okay. So this is this is their one VC funding round, right? And you can call Coinbase pre-seed a VC funding round. Okay. Solana, on the other hand, okay, this is Solana. They had their ICO, private sale, private sale, private sale, pre-sale, funding round, Series A. Okay. So you see a lot more VC and company money coming into Solana, right? So this one shows $25.5 million raised. Private pre-sale was 33% of that. I think that's where the issue is, a private / pre-sale, right? So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? I guess I'll start with you first, Robin.
Yeah, I don't have much more to expand than what I kind of already mentioned. I think people just identify Solana as the venture capital company for the simple fact that people are questioning, like, hey, retail left, and this is what's left is venture capital. We haven't seen any issues with Polygon, so that ideology hasn't been tested. But I'm curious to see if there was some issues with the network or some kind of outage. If there was some kind of comparable event, would we see the same happen to Polygon? Would we see Polygon still be in the top 20 of projects? Would it be able to weather the storm? Is there enough venture capital money behind it? So.
Any other thoughts, gentlemen, before we move on to Gary, our favorite regulator, Gary Gensler? No. All right. Someone said, I brought up Near. They said Near has a lot of VC money. Yes, they do. Yeah. Near does have a lot of VC money.
Aptos as well. Aptos is like the new.
Yes, Aptos also has a lot of VC money. And the thing with Aptos is there's some drama around their tokenomics. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to Gary the Gun. I gave him that nickname, by the way.
Use your Gary emojis if you remember. Thank you.
So this is from Cointelegraph. Crypto lawyers flame Gensler over claims that all crypto are securities.
What kind of title is that? Flame Gensler?
Yeah, they flame him. Like they fillet him.
Okay.
Are you a fillet guy or a ribeye?
Oh, I got to go fattier, bro. Yeah, got to get that ribeye. I cook it medium, though.
Gonzo, Johnny, ribeye, fillet?
I'll say fillet.
Bone-in ribeye. Medium rare, baby.
My man!
Yeah.
My man!
I do got all the flavor. So this article does not talk about steaks, unlike Gary Gensler's HR videos on Twitter. Cryptocurrency lawyers have rebuffed comments made by the head of the U.S. securities regulator, Gary Gensler, who claimed in a recent interview with NY Mag that every crypto except Bitcoin falls under securities jurisdiction. In a wide-ranging February 23rd New York Magazine interview discussing crypto, Gary claimed everything under the Bitcoin falls under the agency's remit. He added other crypto projects, quote, are securities because there's a group in the middle and the public is anticipating profits based on that group. Doesn't Bitcoin also have a group in the middle, right? Group of miners? I don't know. So this is what's interesting here is Jake Chervinsky. He is a lawyer. He's also the head of the Blockchain Association. He tweeted, Chair Gensler may have prejudged that every digital asset aside from Bitcoin is a security, but his opinion is not the law. The SEC lacks authority to regulate any of them until and unless it proves its case in court. For each asset, every single one individually, one at a time. So, I'll start with you first, Johnny. What are your thoughts on this news, Gary Gensler? Is it safe to hold altcoins right now? Well, what's your feeling on this?
Well, there's always a little risk right now, and from that perspective, because the problem is what this truly highlights, guys. This is a problem with Congress, because he's absolutely right. The SEC does not create law, right? They're out there and they're supposed to enforce it. The reality is we need Congress to come out and do their job and come out and say, define and put some true regulations, some goalposts around what cryptocurrency is. We know it's a different beast. And so we need them to come out. And there's been talk about them doing it and regulating a stable coin, but not really any talk about describing some rules around altcoins. And I think that's why, to answer your question, Dave, is there's some risk there because it can go either way. We don't know. Now, I think in the long run, they're going to let cryptocurrency exist. But they're going to want to make sure they get their grips and their claws into it. And we see that happening already. I mean, you already saw them come out and say that now only banks can custody your cryptocurrency, right? So they're just kind of going through
I think I talked about that on your guys' show. I said they're going to push they're going to use this narrative of you can't trust these guys, they're not regulated. Then they're going to give access to the banks. And hey, next thing you know, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase is custodying everyone's crypto, which for the new user, for the new person, might not be a bad thing. Might not be a bad thing.
Well,
Gonzo, go ahead, Johnny.
No, I was going to say the reason why that's so important is because for most of the people, Dave, until they start seeing the companies and the TV channels that they trust, and I'm not saying they should, but the ones that they do, come out and say, hey, it's okay to play in crypto, pretty much you're going to get what you're getting right now. Most of my friends, when I talk to them, you know what they think about crypto? Oh, it's a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. Stay out of it. You know why? Because that's what they're hearing on TV right now. But when JP Morgan or Chase comes out and says, hey, guys, cryptocurrency is good, guess what? Everybody's going to forget that it was a Ponzi scheme. Everybody's going to forget that it was a scam, and they're all going to come running into it as fast as they can. And instead of buying something at $1, they're going to be happy to buy it at $10.
Yeah, you know, and Ivan Hernandez said self-custody is scary. I agree, man. Self-custody is scary. As it sits right now, you make one small mistake, you lose one piece of paper. Your money is gone.
Yeah, diversify your holdings too.
Yeah.
You know, not all in one wallet. One less
that's
points
a
of
good point.
failure. So.
Yes. Gonzo, same question to you that I asked Johnny.
You know, I think, you know, I was reading that tweet earlier, and it almost like kind of like the criminal justice system, like innocent until proven guilty. It's almost like, you know, not a security until proven as a security. The problem with that is, and that they're right, is that a lot of these companies don't have the money to sustain a lawsuit with the SEC, right? They sue them, they go to court, and they eventually go bankrupt, right? And so the SEC ends up winning, whether they just pay a fine and they continue to exist, or they just kind of make them go bankrupt and they no longer exist. The SEC still wins. And it just seems that like what Gary's done is he's there supposedly to protect the investors, but it seems to me, it's just my opinion, that what he's actually doing is protecting the traditional financial system. That's what he's in place to do, right? And he's protecting them against this disruptive technology until, like what Johnny says, until they get their hands into it. Once they can figure out how they're going to make money and they get their hands into everything, that's when they'll kind of loosen up on regulation, and then this thing will run, right? And all we can really do is kind of try to position ourselves ahead of them so that when it runs, we're there, we're in the market, and we're able to run with it.
Rob, I think Gonzo brings up a good point in these smaller projects not having the money to stand up against the SEC. So, what is there a solution? Like, is our best bet for Congress to get their act together and pass a law? Or are we going to have to see these projects continue to go in and try to fight against the SEC or take settlements? What's the best move forward here for our industry?
Okay, this is what's gonna play out in the direction that we're going. Is that we're gonna stifle innovation here. It's not gonna be built in the U.S. It's gonna go offshore. It's gonna grow there. There's gonna be a ton of market cap, ton of value in other countries. The U.S. is gonna throw a hissy fit, and then it's gonna be too late. And then by then, we'll try to fully embrace crypto. That's the thing. Like retail, we can buy crypto. Crypto ain't illegal. You can download a Coinbase app. You can go buy crypto. That's not a problem. The thing is that we can't take it to the next level. We can't replace the inefficiencies that our financial system currently has. And we can't integrate it with anything that is a big company, anything that's publicly traded, because then you get a slap on the wrist. Only thing you're allowed to do is the MicroStrategy way, is where you can just YOLO into straight Bitcoin and do nothing else and don't make any money off of it. Don't do anything else. All you can do as a company is just purchase crypto and hold it, which actually is not a bad idea. But I'm just saying that, you know, if you want this thing to blossom into the full ecosystem that it should be and all of the services that crypto offers, it's not going to be built here in the U.S. And at least it's not going to be integrated into the institutions that are running and operating here in on the state side. And my biggest concern is smart contracts, because what a beautiful technology this is. You know, the way you can automate transactions to fulfill without the need of an intermediary. And the fact that sports betting and that escrow and all of these other useless intermediaries that facilitate transactions between one person and another are profiting from us, smart contracts fix that. And you just shut down, basically, you got Gary Gensler trying to shut down Ethereum, right? He's basically saying, hey, Bitcoin's a commodity, Ethereum's not. And that's the narrative that's growing here. And I think it started to fester when the merge. Okay, here's a good example here. Okay, well, when was the merge? Let's take a look. Merge September 15th. Also, what happened this same day? You had Gensler saying proof of stake assets could be securities. And now where are we at today? Where are we at today? And so I think he has a problem with proof of stake, right? That's the sound of it. And
I think he's got a lot more problems.
And honestly, from the eyes of the SEC, the eyes of Gary Gensler, if you think about it, I mean, proof of stake, I mean, what is stake in a company? That's a security, right? And I think it was just on the crypto side to deem, a proof of work and then call it proof of stake as the consensus mechanism. It's a bad choice of words, right? I'm not even trying to be funny. No, but I'm just saying you own stake in a company and then you got proof of stake. I'm just saying that, like, I feel like you're testing. They're testing the waters when it came up with proof of stake.
So you're saying one of the most influential regulators in the entire world is gonna just
he did a video. His last video was literally just memeing stakes on his video. Yeah. And so obviously it resonates deep with that man. And that's what I'm saying. I'm being slightly comical, yes, but at the same time, I mean, think about it. Would we be in the same situation if it was proof of security or something, proof of lockup or proof of token? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Proof of proof.
Yeah, you go.
I don't know. You guys got any closing thoughts on our friend here, Gary?
Well, I was going to say, like, you can tell that the Ethereum, that they obviously thought we're starting to think along the same lines that it could be a concern, because if you think about the Shanghai upgrade, they stripped away a lot of the other parts of it and just focused on the Shanghai, on the unlock, because I think they were getting nervous that he was going to call Ethereum security because you're able to stake on chain and then you can't give people their money back or they can't unstake. So they stripped away a lot of that upgrade and they just focused straight up on the Shanghai, on the unlocking mechanism part, and kind of pushed the other stuff a little bit later down the road. So you can tell they were kind of thinking about that. It seemed like they were kind of concerned.
Johnny, you got any thoughts on this before we move on?
Yeah. So when you look at kind of where you're going, Rob's right. When you look at Powell came out a while back, about 2 years ago, and said, hey, look, we're looking at CBDCs, but we're going to take our time. We're going to go slow because we know where the end game is. Let's face it. We all know where they want to go. They want to go to the CBDC. You're going to get universal basic income like that, your social credit score, your carbon footprint. Everything's all getting tied together under that. But he's right. They've decided to push it outside the U.S., let all that happen outside. And then when it's all ready, they're going to bring it in here and force it upon everybody here. And you see it. But I think that's part of the plan. And Powell came out and said it a few years ago was going to happen. So the reality is Gary, I think, is just doing what he's told to do, which is to stifle innovation. That's exactly what's happening here by not putting some clear understanding and clarity around what cryptocurrencies is. You see companies all the time saying, hey, we want to invest in this, we want to get in here, but we're also worried because we know the SEC, if we go too far, they will slap you. There is no way large institutions, Dave, can take the risk of putting in money right now with the unclarity that we have. And we're not going to get clarity until, in my opinion, once the big boys have their grips in it and they've got it where it wants it, that's when you get your clarity. That's when they unleash it. And that's when you're going to see everything take off. That's why, for us, I tell everybody all the time, we're in so early that it feels like we're late, right? Because we've been in for so early, like, when is the damn thing going to take off? But you know what? Look at what happened with the 1990s when the internet. It took 20, 30 years to really get where we are today. This stuff does not happen overnight. These things will take time. Technology takes time to mature, to deploy. And what you're trying to do, or what they're trying to do here, deploy a system that goes across every single central bank. across the whole world, that's a huge undertaking. It's going to take a long time to do.
Also, Gary Ginsler in the chat has chimed in. He said, I can bench 301 securities. So, not pounds, unfortunately. So,
That's funny.
Jerry's in the chat.
Yeah, gentlemen, we have kept you longer than we said we would. We're going to let you go. We're going to give you the floor. Is there anything you guys want to leave us with? And if people want more Gonzo and Johnny, where can they find you?
Well, that's awesome,
Go ahead,
guys. You can find us on the Good Morning Crypto Show. We're there every single day, 11 a.m. Eastern time, talking about our favorite topic, crypto, as well as mixing up with guests as well. And you guys have been on. We had you on. It was great having you on. We'd love to have you on again. But I personally want to say thank you for having us on. It was awesome to be here, and hopefully look forward to being able to do it again someday.
Amen. Gonzo, you got anything to leave us with, my friend?
Yeah, just thank you guys. Really appreciate it. It was a treat to come on. I was always in the chat watching you guys, and I feel like we kind of vibe, our shows vibe. So looking forward to having you guys back on again, and just thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for taking the time to come on our show and imparting your knowledge on us and our community. Guys, go subscribe to Good Morning Crypto at 3T Warrior Academy on YouTube. Also, go follow Johnny and Gonzo on Twitter. Gentlemen, thank you so much, and we will see you guys next month.
Thank you, guys.
Later.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Let's talk about Voyager.
Is that still a thing?
That is a thing, bro.
Really?
That's a thing. So someone said,
why doesn't that just go to bed, man? Like, go to bed, bro. Get out of here. Nobody wants you.
Well, I mean, they were going to go to bed with FTX, and then FTX cheated on them. Got caught. Now they're about to get in bed with Binance, and now Binance is in trouble because they didn't pay a parking
All
ticket.
right. Let's give some love to the chat. If you're new here, say hello so that way we can drop an hola back at you. So we got...
What is up with your hola
Shut it. We got Jackie, Turkey, Andrew, Scotty, Mep, Node, Rohit, Ivan, and Rat. Not to be confused with the animal, but WRRATT. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Are rats really animals, though? Are they?
They're a mammal, yes.
They're rodents.
They have...
they're not... Did you say they're mammals?
They are mammals.
Who did not pay attention in science class? I could be...
A rat?
I could be...
A rodent is a mammal. You can milk.
Rocco,
You can milk.
Google it.
They have nipples.
Milk a rat.
I'm just saying. Get some rat milk, bro.
Chad, help me out here. Is a rodent a mammal?
Yes.
It's a security.
It's a security.
Yes. Yes. Comment of the day. It is a security. All right. Here's a quick update on Voyager, and we'll talk about what's going on.
I think his mic was muted. Yeah. Rocco said it's a security.
Rocco said it's a security. That was comment of the day. All right. This is from MSN.com. SEC comes out against Binance's $1 billion deal. We also had the securities regulators of Texas come out and say the same thing. The SEC's, their whole issue is, well, Binance has to pay a lot of fees, and we don't think they have the money like the legit money to buy the Voyager assets. And then there's this
the
news.
legit money.
No, seriously, like I don't know if they think they're gonna print more BNB token or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, you think they're in the same kind of situation that
I think
FTX was?
I think that's
as far as valuation and buying.
That's how I think that's how the regulators are looking at them. To be completely honest with you, fool me once, shame on me. But you didn't really fool me because I knew what was going on, but I decided to ignore it. Fool me twice, then I get caught by Congress and get fired. So here's from AMB Crypto. Voyager Digital sells crypto assets on Coinbase. So they're selling some of their assets. According to on-chain analyst Look On-Chain, it's a great name, by the way, for an on-chain analyst. Look On-Chain. Bankrupt crypto brokerage firm Voyager has been selling its crypto assets via leading exchange Coinbase since Valentine's Day. Seems, this is a tweet from Look On-Chain, seems Voyager selling assets to Coinbase. We noticed that Voyager received $100 million in USDC from Coinbase over the last 3 days. And it looks like a majority of it is they're selling Bitcoin. Despite the sell-off, Voyager continues to hold crypto assets worth over $600 million, mostly consisting of Ether tokens. Here's what tokens that they have. Okay.
You know what's surprising?
Right here.
is that when you Google "are rodents," the first thing that suggests is mammals. Like,
Does it really?
Yeah, I guess we're not the first person that had this conversation. And
wrong.
yes, they are mammals.
I stand corrected, guys. My apologies. Rodents are mammals because of their milk. So this is currently what Voyager is holding on their asset sheet, right? They got rid of all their Bitcoin. This was about the 100 million. It's about 276 million in ETH. 81 million in SHIB. So yeah. Do you think they're gonna let this thing go? Oh, here's a better view here, more cleaner view. Avalanche, Chainlink, Phantom, blah 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 blah. Rob, do you think Voyager, like, are they just gonna have to just move the, like, hey, all right, we're just gonna do Chapter 7, liquidate. We keep getting bids on these assets. We keep getting, you know, the SEC, Gary Gensler, DOJ breathing down our neck. What's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? Are these Voyager creditors going to continue to just get pulled in every which way direction, or is there going to be something in sight?
I mean, if you're expecting anything other than being pulled around and waiting forever, you're sadly mistaken. No matter what direction this goes, it's going to be a long time before you get any cash back. It's going to be a long time before you receive anything back. Now, I think the better question is, how much are you going to get back, right? You know, what are you going to, with the end game, going to get back? Is it going to be 25 cents on the dollar? Is it going to be 50 cents on the dollar, 80 cents, 90 cents? I don't know, man. And it isn't surprising to me. I mean, here's the thing. This isn't the first company that has went under that took your assets, right? That took years to pay back. And so there's a handful of examples of this exact scenario that has played out. And it's been normally 6 to 8 years for anybody to get money back, right?
Yeah.
So for that reason, don't hold your breath. I would just assume that you're not going to get any back. I think you will. I think it's pretty safe to assume that you will. But I mean, if it's 10 years from now, like, should you even pretend that it's relevant? Right. So I would just kind of go about your life as though it is gone. And then eventually, when you do get some kind of recourse, just look at it as a bonus. Right.
Yeah. Redman said Mt. Gox took how long? Well, it's still taking long because, I think we're finally going to get some settlement, some distribution of people's Bitcoin that happened in 2014, right? 2013, 2014?
2014.
Yeah. All right, friends, we're done.
That's
That's it, baby. Hour and a half. Big thank you to our guests, Johnny, Crypto, and Gonzo from Good Morning Crypto. I want to say Good Morning America, but I'm not. Guys, go check out all of our socials, our Twitter at Sin City Crypto One. Go buy yourself some merch. Buy your lady some merch, your sister, your mother, your cousin, your auntie, because we now have ladies gear as well. Also, if you don't like Sin City Crypto, but you like crypto, there's also regular crypto merch as well. And huge thank you to our newest whale member, Big Swole. I got it right here. I'm about to add you to our Discord. Guys, if you want to support the channel, become a whale member. Not going to get a lot in return, so but you are helping support this channel, and you are helping us stay on air. So thank you. And to all of you, I love you. Rocco. Friends, family, friends, and family and family and friends, thank you guys so much. We're starting your week with us here at Sin City Crypto. Make sure to come back tonight around 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for David's fundamental and technical analysis on crypto. On behalf of myself, Robin, and Rocco, we love you guys. Until tomorrow.